On today's show, we catch a glimpse of the new Mustang Mach 1. Check out an RX7 that probably won't leak oil all over your driveway, and we launch a new show. Plus, NASCAR's Parker Kligerman joins us to talk racing. I'm Tiffany Stone, and this is Hagerty's Daily Driver. Let's buckle up. First up, what are you watching? Why are we here and where are we going? Well, you're watching Hagerty's Daily Driver, a daily car news show where we aim to bring you the biggest, most important, and most entertaining stories from the automotive world faster than you can lap the Nürburgring in a Dodge Viper ACR. We're here because we love cars, and as the newest part of Hagerty Media, we're committed to the same mission of ensuring that driving exists for future generations. And we're here because we want to have fun while doing it, because that's the entire point. So whether you drive an MG, wrench on a Mustang, or dream about brand new supercars, this show is for you. Where is this going? We don't know, but we know that great road trips are all about the journey and not the destination. All we know is that we want you to ride shotgun. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, sign up for the newsletter, and join our community on Hagerty.com and let us know where we should go next. Now moving on, we've got some spy photos of a new Mustang. For those of you who wanted a Mustang GT with a little bit more power and a little bit more style, but didn't want to cosplay as Steve McQueen, well, we've got some great news for you. The Bullet Mustang is out and the Mustang Mach 1 is back in. As our own Brandon Gilligley reported, the 2021 Mach 1 was caught by a spy photographer outside of Ford headquarters in Dearborn. Photos of the test car show a massive Shelby-style wing, some handsome split 5-spoke wheels, and what we expect are going to be big, round fog lights in the grille. The original Mach 1 debuted in 1969 as something more than a stock GT. At first, it was offered with a flat black hood, improved suspension, and optional goodies like a shaker hood. The Mach 1 made a brief reappearance in the early 2000s, and now it's back, slotting in between the stock GT and the GT350. The Bullet comes with a 480 horsepower V8, but better yet, rumor has it that the Mach 1 could get a 500 plus horsepower version of Ford's Coyote V8. Check out Hagerty.com/media for more photos or click the link in the description. And finally, parking lot car meets are starting to come back, which means we get to see all the weird swaps people have been working on in their garages in between making their 90th peanut butter and jelly sandwich. TikTok user Works Production Films was at a parking lot car meet in Southern California when they spotted this. Hey, it's an FD RX7. They go fast, they look great, and use more oil than Rachel Ray. Maybe it's got an LS, or maybe it's got a 20B. Nope, it's got a Tesla motor. This car appears to be the work of Instagram user Tesla RX7, who is building what may be the first ever Tesla-powered RX7. To me, that is so cool. Although it's weird to see a modified car leave a car show with no sound. Oh. Well, some sound. And as a car enthusiast, honestly, this video just makes me smile. First, it's just wonderful to see car people safely getting together, hanging out again, distanced. I know it's something I've been missing, and I know you've been missing it too. And secondly, EV enthusiasts are a lot like all car enthusiasts. You spend months working on a car only to screw it up, when you leave the car meet. And coming up, you know him as a race car driver, NBC sports racing analyst, esports team co-owner, and co-host of Proving Grounds with our very own Sam Smith. Parker Kligerman joins us to talk about all things racing this weekend. But first,
Mustang Mach 1.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Parker. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me on. It's a beautiful week, or start of a week after some great racing this past weekend.
I know. Let's talk about that. We've been out of racing for a few months now. What does it feel like to get into a full weekend of racing?
It's awesome, to see it all come back and to see the series being really smart about how they're coming back and, being very safe about it. But, as a racing fan, as someone who works in motorsports, we just want to see it. Race cars on the racetrack, and that's what we have now. And to have as much racing as we had this weekend was awesome. Seeing IndyCar come back, all 3 NASCAR series, it was a great weekend of racing.
I know, talking about that, just seeing all the different cars and vehicles out on track, are we going to be able to see you in a vehicle again soon?
We'll see. Probably trying to do some truck races. It's been a little tough with the way they have things set up. There's no qualifying or practice right now. So for my truck team, we didn't have the points to get into the races. But once they sort of open that up again, we'll go racing again. So hopefully soon.
That's so awesome. And for our fans out there, who are interested in NASCAR, really want to get into it, what's something that you love so much about NASCAR? You're like, hey, if you're not a fan yet, come watch this. This is why I'm such a fan of NASCAR.
It's the competitiveness. In a lot of ways, NASCAR is the second biggest series in the world behind Formula One. And this is, at the pointy end of the field, it's the best drivers in the world, and especially in America. And so it's just one of the most competitive series. I've raced in Cup, and I can't stress enough how there's nothing that prepares you for top-level NASCAR racing. It is unbelievable how hard it is, how competitive it is, how much you have to put everything on the line, and how dedicated you have to be successful. So when you see guys like Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch who dominate, you have such a respect for how good they are because they're just in a whole nother league. And I know, just personally, I've always said this, if you put those guys in any type of race car, they will rise to the top. That's how good they are. And that's why, I love NASCAR, and I just know it's the top of the top.
That's so amazing. And you're right. It's such a great, not individual sport, but team sport. And now all these teams are coming back together, and they're really going to be pushing for everything. And talking about having different drivers and different things, you've been doing a lot of e-racing lately. You've just even had the NASCAR Pro Invitational, you had the fake IndyCar, and even Rallycross. So how does it feel to have so many different drivers become crossover drivers in fields that they're not even used to?
Well, you see, that was one of the few bright spots of this pandemic, right, for motorsports, was that we all sort of shifted to iRacing and online racing. And the coolest thing was not only, seeing sim racing get on TV and get a huge audience, but it was also the crossover, as you mentioned, between IndyCar drivers racing with NASCAR drivers and Rallycross drivers and drivers from around the world all coming together on these different platforms and different racing series and racing each other almost like it was back in the 70s, just doing it virtually. And, that was super cool. I made a lot of friends with guys from the IndyCar realm that I wasn't as close with, but became closer to because of this, from the Rallycross realm. And so it's just been awesome, in that sense, to make these new friends and become closer to so much of the motorsports world and community. And hopefully, I think for a lot of series and motorsports as a whole, we view this now as sort of a template for the future. This is what we can do in the off seasons to keep content rolling and get the series working closer together, because that's only better for motorsports to work together, because a rising tide raises all boats. And motorsports definitely, wants to find the best way to get more fans involved. And I think, sim racing is a huge part of that and will continue to be in the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Parker, for checking in with us. It's so great to see your viewpoints of everything, and I completely agree with you. Having the e-racing, especially during the off-season, is going to just keep the fans and everybody engaged. So thank you so much for stopping in, and thank you for checking in with us with all the great info.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here, and good luck with the new show.
And for everybody watching, thank you so much for checking in and tuning in for our very first Hagerty's Daily Driver. Make sure to come back tomorrow. We're going to have all the great info, the automotive news you've been looking for. Until then, keep driving.